This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, students. I am Murali Krishna, working. Good afternoon, students. I am Murali Krishna, working as Associate Professor in Civil Engineering Department of Adi Shankara College of Engineering and Technology. I have 12 years of experience in teaching and 14 years of experience in industry, that is in constructions. I handled number of subjects in civil engineering. In our civil engineering branch, the basic subject, fundamental subject is this engineering mechanics. The civil engineering student is studying this engineering mechanics in the first year itself, because this engineering mechanics is providing number of fundamental concepts. They are useful to understand the other subjects in civil engineering. So if the student is having complete knowledge in engineering mechanics, he can able to understand the other topics, other subjects in civil engineering easily. So in our civil engineering branch, the fundamental subject or the fundamental basic subject is this engineering mechanics. So you are studying this engineering mechanics in the first year itself. In the second semester of this first year, you are studying this engineering mechanics, and the subject code of this engineering mechanics is 20ME201. 20ME201. That is the subject code. It is a very, very important subject in our civil engineering branch. So every student, please listen the topics carefully. If you have any doubts in my explanation, please post your doubts on the chat box. I will explain those doubts in the middle of the classes. So in every day, whenever I take the class, if you have any doubts in my presentation, please post your doubts in the chat box. I will answer those doubts in the middle of the classes. With this, I am welcoming you all to this important subject of engineering mechanics in civil engineering branch. It is also tough subject, please. Everyone, keep in mind, this is an important subject and also tough subject. From the beginning onwards, if you follow the concepts, engineering mechanics is a very, very, very easy subject. But if you miss the classes, in middle, this engineering mechanics is a very tough subject. I hope you might have heard already in the university level, either in JNTU Anantapur, JNTU Kakinada, JNTU Hyderabad. In the first BTech, most of the students are failed in this engineering mechanics because they are not attending the classes regularly. That is the major reason. From the beginning onwards, if you attend the classes regularly, this is a easy subject. Most of the concepts already you studied in the lower classes, that you can realize when I am teaching this subject. Already in the intermediate level, 10th class level, 9th class level, you studied most of the concepts in engineering mechanics. But in engineering mechanics, we are going to apply those concepts already you studied in the lower classes. We are going to apply those concepts in the application manner, not in the theoretical manner. That part I will take care of in my teaching. I will explain the concepts clearly from the beginning onwards. Now it is your duty to follow these concepts carefully. If you have any doubts, please post those doubts in the chat box. I will give the reply. I will give the answer for those doubts. So without any doubts, dear students, without any doubts, please listen this, understand this subject of engineering mechanics. Wonderful subject. The subject is an important subject and a wonderful subject. It is the must-need subject for every civil engineer. So please, everyone, unmute your mic. Please unmute your mics and concentrate on my teaching in this subject of engineering mechanics. Now I am going to put forward you the syllabus in this engineering mechanics. In this engineering mechanics subject, we have 5 units. The unit 1 deals with the basics of engineering mechanics. The unit 2 deals with equilibrium of rigid bodies. The unit 3 deals with centroid concept and also moment of inertia. The unit 4 deals with dynamics of particles. The unit 5 deals with friction and rigid body dynamics. Please check those units. Unit 1, basics of engineering mechanics. It is entirely new to your level. So far, none of you know about the basics of engineering mechanics. I will explain clearly. Unit 2 deals with equilibrium of rigid bodies. It is also entirely new concept. So far, you don't know what is the meaning of equilibrium. You don't know what is the meaning of rigid body. That I will take care of. I will handle that unit 2 up to your level. The unit 3 is centroid. In the lower classes, you might have studied the basics of centroid, either in the intermediate or in the 10th class. But in this engineering mechanics, we are going to see the higher level of the concept of centroid. Up to certain height, higher level, we are going to discuss that concept of centroid. The fourth one is dynamics of particles. The fifth one is friction and rigid body dynamics. This is the syllabus we have in this subject of engineering mechanics. Now coming to the textbooks. The prescribed textbooks for this subject is, one is by Bhavikatti, S.S. Bhavikatti. Engineering mechanics, it is the New Age International Publishers, S.S. Bhavikatti. To some extent, good book. The next one is R.K. Bansal, Dr. R.K. Bansal, Engineering Mechanics, Lakshmi Publishers. For numerical problems, this is a good textbook. But the third textbook is an important textbook in this subject of engineering mechanics for your examination point of view. The third textbook is N.H. Dubey. It is McGraw-Hill Publishers, Engineering Mechanics, Statics and Dynamics by N.H. Dubey. Excellent textbook. Even at JNTU Anantapur, they are following this textbook N.H. Dubey, and even in university, even in semester examinations, you will get the questions in the semester examination from this Dubey textbook. So if possible, if anybody interested to purchase a textbook in engineering mechanics, because it is an important subject, try to purchase that engineering mechanics by N.H. Dubey. It is an excellent textbook, useful to you in the 4 years of civil engineering. So if possible, try to purchase that subject of engineering mechanics by N.H. Dubey. Apart from these textbooks, we have reference books for the subject of engineering mechanics. The first one is Engineering Mechanics by D.S. Kumar, reference textbook. The next one is Singer's Series, S-I-N-G-E-R-S. The Singer's Series of Engineering Mechanics by K. Vijay Kumar Reddy and K. Suresh Kumar, reference textbook. It is available in the library, in our college library. All these textbooks are available. Then the next one is Merriam, up to certain high level Merriam. So these three are the reference textbooks for the subject of engineering mechanics. Coming to the web references and e-textbooks, they are available in the app, in our SANC app. These web references and e-textbooks are available. Then after this syllabus, textbooks, reference textbooks, web references and e-textbooks, I am going to discuss with you what are the objectives of the subject of engineering mechanics. First of all, dear students, you should know for what purpose you are studying this engineering mechanics subject. What is the useful of this subject? Why I am studying this engineering mechanics? In which way this subject is useful to me? You are all joined in civil engineering. Please keep this in mind. At present, you are the budding civil engineers. Please switch off the mics. I will lock the class and I will delete those students, please. So first of all, you should know, dear students, you should know why you are studying this engineering mechanics subject in the first year itself, not in the second year, not in the third year, not in the final year. You are studying this engineering mechanics in the first year itself because it is very, very important in our branch of civil engineering. You are in the beginning stages of this civil engineering. You are called budding engineers, fresh engineers. When you become a good civil engineer, you will become a good civil engineer if you have the complete knowledge on civil engineering. To get that complete knowledge in civil engineering, you must require the basics of this engineering mechanics. If you are thoroughly knowledgeable in engineering mechanics, definitely you can understand the remaining concepts in civil engineering, other subjects concepts. So this subject of engineering mechanics provides the basic concepts to understand the other subjects in civil engineering. Now coming to this objectives. What purpose you are studying this subject of engineering mechanics? So this first objective of this engineering mechanics is, this engineering mechanics explains you the concepts of the kinetics and kinematic parameters of rigid bodies. At present, nobody in this class is having this knowledge of rigid bodies. Nobody knows what is this rigid body. But the engineering mechanics explains the concept of rigid bodies to you, and it also explains the kinematics and kinetics of rigid bodies. So that is the first objective, to provide the knowledge to the students on kinematics of and kinetics of rigid bodies. You are studying this subject of engineering mechanics, first objective. Then the second objective is, this subject of engineering mechanics explains you the resultant force. It also explains the equilibrium condition of bodies, both in the two-dimensional system and also the three-dimensional system. So far, nobody, most of you does not know what is equilibrium condition, what is the resultant force. This subject of engineering mechanics will explains the concept of resultant force to you. It also explains the concept of equilibrium of bodies to you. So the second object of this engineering mechanics is, it provides the knowledge to the students on resultant force and also on equilibrium condition. The third objective is, this engineering mechanics provides you the knowledge on determination of centroid of the objects, center of gravity of objects, and also it provides the knowledge of moment of inertia to the students. This centroid, center of gravity, moment of inertia are very, very important in civil engineering. The concept of centroid, the concept of center of gravity and moment of inertia. Then the fourth objective is, this engineering mechanics explains the concept of friction. Even though you know this friction, but in engineering mechanics you study advanced concepts in friction. So this engineering mechanics provides the knowledge to the students on kinematics and kinetics of rigid bodies. It provides the knowledge to the students on resultant force and equilibrium of bodies. It provides the knowledge of centroid and center of gravity and moment of inertia to the students. It also provides the knowledge on friction force to the students. These four objectives of subject of engineering mechanics. Now coming to course outcomes. Course outcomes means, after the completion of this subject, after the completion of this subject, what is the familiarization of students? In which concepts the students gets familiarized once this subject is completed?
I have done, sir. Sir, 2D plane and
Give the
sir.
response.
Sir,
Ramaya, tell me.
2D plane and sir.
Two-dimensional means x-axis and y-axis. The xy
Okay, sir, okay.
plane, I will explain later. 2D means two-dimensional plane. 3D means xy z-axis. Three-dimensional plane. In engineering mechanics, you will study both the two-dimensional equilibrium condition, three-dimensional equilibrium condition. That I will explain you in the second unit. You have that discussion of 2D equilibrium and 3D equilibrium in unit 2. I will explain at that unit 2 about that 2D and 3D equilibrium. So this is the objective of this engineering mechanics subject. Then after the completion of this subject, the students will get knowledge on some concepts in engineering mechanics, that is called course outcomes. Outcomes means in which areas the students will get familiarization, that is course outcomes. This subject of engineering mechanics is having 6 course outcomes on 6 aspects. The students will get familiarization. So at the end of this course, the student will able to understand the concept of free body diagram. Please follow that first course outcome. At present, we don't know this concept of free body diagram. Nobody at present know about this free body diagram. But after the completion of this engineering mechanics, you are all gets familiarization on this concept of free body diagram. How to prepare the free body diagram in civil engineering? This free body diagram is a very important concept. At present, you don't know about this free body diagram. But after the completion of this engineering mechanics, you are all gets complete knowledge on this construction of the free body diagram. Then the second course outcome, after the completion of this engineering mechanics, you have the knowledge on equilibrium equations. At present, you don't know about these equilibrium equations, but once this subject is completed, you will get total knowledge on equilibrium equation. That is the second outcome. The third outcome is, at present you don't know how to locate the centroid of composite sections. Even you don't know what is composite section, but this engineering mechanics after the completion provides you the determination of centroid of composite sections. So after the completion of this subject, you are in a position to determine the centroid of the composite sections. Third course outcome. Fourth course outcome, after the completion of this subject, you can determine the moment of inertia of composite sections. Then the fifth outcome, after the completion of this subject, you can understand what are the real applications of friction in our regular life. The fifth outcome, you can able to understand what is the kinematics and kinetics of bodies. So on these 6 aspects, you will get the total knowledge once you study completely the subject of engineering mechanics. At least for this purpose, please focus on the subject of engineering mechanics. At present, you don't know free body diagram, but from this engineering mechanics, you will get complete knowledge on the preparation of free body diagrams. You will get the complete knowledge on this equilibrium equations. So these are all the course outcomes of this subject of engineering mechanics. So dear students, I explained in this engineering mechanics subject the syllabus, the textbooks, the reference textbooks, the web references and e-textbooks, the course objectives and course outcomes. With this introduction, I am moving to unit 1 in engineering mechanics. In this engineering mechanics, unit 1 deals with the introduction to engineering mechanics. So that is the unit 1 in our engineering mechanics subject, introduction to engineering mechanics. What is the syllabus in this unit 1? This unit 1 is having 3 parts. Check this syllabus on the cell phone screens. In Unit 1, the first part is Basics of Engineering Mechanics. The second part is Resultant of Force System. Third part is Equilibrium of Forces. So please everyone go through that syllabus in Unit 1. The first one is Basics of Engineering Mechanics. The second one is Resultant Force System. At present, you don't know what is force system. But after the completion of Unit 1, you will get complete knowledge on force system and also how to determine the resultant force of force system. And after the completion of this Unit 1, you will get knowledge on equilibrium of forces. This is the syllabus in Unit 1, Part 1, Basics of Engineering Mechanics. Check that Part 1 syllabus. In that Basics of Engineering Mechanics, we are going to study the basic concepts of engineering mechanics, the characteristics of force, the various types of force systems, the resultant force, the composition and resolution of force, the principle of moments and couples. This is the syllabus I am going to explain in Unit 1 of Part 1, Basics of Engineering Mechanics. Now coming to the concepts in Unit 1. First, I would like to explain what is the definition of science. What is the definition of science? I hope most of you heard this term science at least from your third class. At least from your third class, you are getting this word science. From the third class onwards, number of times you might have heard about this word science. But what is the exact meaning of that science? Science is not only for physics, chemistry. Science is also for engineering. Even the engineering is also comes under that version of science. So first of all, you should know what is the concept of science. So check those 3 points below that science. The science is a systemized body of knowledge. The science provides us the systematic knowledge, not the irregular knowledge. So from this science, we are getting the knowledge in the systematic manner. Starting from lower class onwards, because of this science, we are getting the knowledge in the systematic manner. So the science is defined as the systemized body of knowledge. The science is also the quest for truth, searching of truth, not the false. In science, we are always searching the truth. I hope in the intermediate you might have studied the reason for the formation of rainbow on the sky. That formation of rainbow is a true phenomena. It happened in front of our eyes. The light diffraction is the reason for that rainbow formation. So that is searching of truth. Similarly, the formation of waves in ocean due to gravitational forces. The waves are formed in the ocean. That is also studied in the science. It is also a true phenomena. Like that, in science, always we study the true concepts, not the false concepts. We are not going to study about the ghost in science. That is a false phenomena. Always the science deals with the true phenomena in the nature. That is a quest for truth. Then the last one is science show the way of life. Always the science provides the light for the way of life. So like that, we can define this science as a systemized body of knowledge, the quest for truth, and the science is the way of life. Next, what is the classification of science? We classify the science into 2 categories. The first one is theoretical and experimental science. The second one is the applied science. That is the classification of science. The first classification, theoretical and experimental science. The second classification, applied science. So far, from LKG to intermediate, dear students, you study that first part of science, theoretical and experimental science. Whereas in engineering, you are going to study the second part of science, that is applied science. The engineering comes under the second part of science, applied science. Whereas up to intermediate, you study the science as the first part, the theoretical and experimental science. Experimental science means the physics laboratory experiments, chemistry laboratory experiments, like that. But in engineering, we comes under the second part of science, applied science. Engineering is totally application. Whatever the theory we are studying in the engineering, we are going to apply the theory in the laboratory. In the laboratories, we are going to apply the theory. That's why the engineering comes under the second part of the science, applied science. So this is the classification of science: theoretical and experimental science. The next one is the applied science. Now, before going to understand engineering mechanics, first of all, you should know what is mechanics. So check that heading, engineering mechanics. It is having two words, engineering one word, mechanics is the other word. Engineering mechanics is having two words, engineering followed by mechanics. So first of all, you should familiarize about mechanics. Then you can understand what is engineering mechanics. What is the definition of mechanics? In the lower classes, you studied the subject of physics. Physics is having number of branches. Mechanics is a branch of physics. Light is a branch of physics. Magnetism is a branch of physics. Electricity is a branch of physics. Like that, the science of physics is having so many branches, but the first branch of physics is mechanics. Definitely in the lower classes, you might have studied the definition of mechanics in physics. So check that definition. Mechanics is a branch of physics. The mechanics is a branch of physics. Mechanics comes under science. Mechanics is a branch of physics. Mechanics deals with the rest condition of bodies and also the motion of bodies under the action of forces. That is the definition of mechanics in physics. The mechanics is a branch of physics. Mechanics deals with the rest condition of bodies and also the motion of bodies under the action of forces. Now, for this mechanics, if I add engineering, for this mechanics, if I add here engineering, the subject becomes as engineering mechanics. Engineering is the application. Just now I explained. Engineering is application. Mechanics is this definition. So what is this engineering mechanics? Engineering mechanics means the application of concepts of mechanics for the engineering problem solving. If I am applying the theoretical concepts of mechanics to solve the problems in engineering, that application is called engineering mechanics. Engineering mechanics is not entirely new concept. Engineering mechanics is the applications of the theoretical concepts of mechanics for the practical cases. In engineering, we have so many practical cases. When you are solving those practical problems in engineering by using the theoretical concepts of mechanics, that application is called the engineering mechanics. So engineering is application, mechanics is theory. So by using this theory of mechanics, if we can solve the problems in engineering, either the civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, whatever the branch may be, if the problems in engineering are solved by using the theory of mechanics, that application is called engineering mechanics. So the engineering mechanics is a applied science, whereas mechanics is a theoretical science. In mechanics, you study only the theory. You study the law of conservation of energy in engineering in mechanics, but you don't know where actually that law of conservation of energy used in the engineering. In turbines, I hope you heard that word turbines. we construct the dams across the rivers to store the water. Please listen everyone. We construct the dams across the river to store the water. By using that water, we generate the power in the hydro power plants. To generate that power, we are using the turbines in the hydro power plant. In that turbine, the principle is law of conservation of energy. That is the main principle of working of a turbine in the production of electricity. The law of conservation of energy is a theoretical concept in mechanics. We are using that theory, law of conservation of energy, in so many applications. Number of applications we are using that theory, that is called engineering mechanics. Not only in civil engineering, in mechanical engineering, in electrical engineering, in other branches, we are using that law of conservation of energy practically. That application is called engineering mechanics. I am giving you one example. Like that, we have so many applications. All the applications of theory of this mechanics is called as engineering mechanics. So the engineering mechanics is a applied science, not the theoretical science. Check this definition, dear students. What is this definition of engineering mechanics? Just now I explained the definition of mechanics. Mechanics is a branch of physics. Mechanics is a theoretical science. If I apply the theoretical concepts of mechanics for the practical problem solving, that is called engineering mechanics. The engineering mechanics is a branch of applied science, not the theoretical science. Because in engineering mechanics, we are going to study only the applications. What are the applications of the theoretical concepts of mechanics? Those applications we are going to study in engineering mechanics. So the engineering mechanics is a applied science, not the theoretical science. The engineering mechanics deals with, please follow this second sentence carefully. The engineering mechanics deals with the laws and principles of mechanics. Laws and principles of mechanics comes under theoretical science. The laws and principles of mechanics are theoretical science. So the engineering mechanics deals with the laws and principles of mechanics along with their applications. In the mechanics, we study only the laws and principles, not the applications. We study the conservation of energy, it is a principle. We study Newton's first law, it is a theory. But in the engineering mechanics, we study those laws and principles of mechanics. Along that theory, we also study the applications. So in the engineering mechanics, we study the theory and also the applications to solve the engineering problems. So that concept, the study of theory in the mechanics along with the applications of that theory is called engineering mechanics. So in the engineering mechanics, along with theory, we are also going to study the applications of that theory. So in engineering mechanics, we are focusing on the theory and also on the applications. Because of that, this engineering mechanics becomes an important subject in civil engineering. So far, up to your intermediate, you study only the theory, not the applications. But first time in engineering mechanics, you are going to see the applications of theory also. For that purpose, this subject of engineering mechanics is introduced in your first BTech second semester. How to familiarize the students about the applications of theory. Especially in civil engineering, the applications of theory to solve the problems is very, very important. Because of that purpose, the subject of engineering mechanics is introduced for you in the second semester. So if anybody is having doubts about the definition of engineering mechanics, please discuss with me. Dear students, if any of you is having doubts about this definition of engineering mechanics, please unmute your mics and discuss with me. So understand the difference between mechanics and engineering mechanics. In mechanics, we study the laws and principles only. We are not going to study the applications in mechanics. But in the engineering mechanics, we study the laws and principles of mechanics. Along with that study, we are also going to study the applications of the laws and principles of mechanics. Due to that, this applications of laws and principles of mechanics is called as engineering mechanics. Any doubt, students, about the definition of engineering mechanics? At least post your doubt on the chat box. If you have any doubt, please post your doubt on the chat box. So, this is the definition of engineering mechanics. It is the branch of applied science, not the theoretical science. It is the branch of applied science. This engineering mechanics deals with the laws and principles of mechanics along with their practical applications to solve the engineering problems, that is engineering mechanics. With this definition of engineering mechanics, I am going to explain you the complete classification of engineering mechanics. This engineering mechanics is the umbrella. It is the umbrella. All civil engineering subjects comes under this umbrella of engineering mechanics. This engineering mechanics covers all the subjects in civil engineering. Now, this engineering mechanics is classified as mechanics of solids and mechanics of fluids. You are going to study this mechanics of solids and mechanics of fluids from your second year onwards. In civil engineering, from second year onwards, you are going to study the mechanics of solids and mechanics of fluids. In order to understand the mechanics of solids and mechanics of fluids, first of all, you must study the subject of engineering mechanics. If you have thorough knowledge on this engineering mechanics, you can understand easily the mechanics of solids and mechanics of fluids. Solids means solid bodies. Fluids means water and air. Water and air are having the flow property. Air is flowing, water is flowing. The material having the flow property is called fluid. Solid is not flowing. It is remains at the same location. So that is called solid. Whereas the water and air are flowing, we are calling them as fluids. The engineering mechanics is classified into mechanics of solids and mechanics of fluids. Mechanics of solids classified into mechanics of rigid bodies and mechanics of deformable bodies. I hope you know deformable bodies. When the force is applied on the spring subjected to stretching. When you apply the force on the spring subjected to stretching, that is called deformable body. When the force is acting on the body, if the body is subjected to either the elongation or the compression, that is called stretching. We call the body as deformable body. I will explain what is this rigid body in the today's class. So, in the mechanics of solids, we have mechanics of rigid bodies and mechanics of deformable bodies. In the mechanics of rigid bodies, we have statics and dynamics. Statics deals with rest condition of bodies. Dynamics deals with motion of bodies. In dynamics, we have another two types, kinematics and kinetics. Kinematics deals with motion of bodies without forces. Kinetics deals with motion of bodies with forces. This is the classification of mechanics of rigid bodies. Then coming to mechanics of deformable bodies. Mechanics of deformable bodies classified into two types, theory of elasticity, theory of plasticity. If I remove the force on the spring come back to original shape, that is called elasticity. If I apply the force on chewing gum, chewing gum also stretches. If I remove the force on the chewing gum never comes back. That is called plasticity. For your easy understanding, I am giving this example. So like that, the mechanics of deformable bodies classified into mechanics are the theory of velocity and theory of plasticity. This is the classification of the mechanics of solids. In second semester, you are going to study this mechanics of rigid bodies, statics, dynamics, kinematics and kinetics. This is the portion you are going to study in this second semester engineering mechanics. Whereas in the second, third, final year, you are going to study the remaining portion. Mechanics of deformable bodies, theory of velocity, theory of plasticity, mechanics of fluids. This remaining portion in this flow chart, you are going to study in the second, third and final years. Mechanics of fluids classified into ideal fluid, viscous fluid and incompressible fluid. This entire portion you are going to study in the second, third, final year. Whereas this small portion you are going to study in this second semester. So in the engineering mechanics, I am going to discuss with you the mechanics of rigid bodies. In that, I am going to explain statics and dynamics. In dynamics, we will discuss the kinematics and kinetics. That is the portion the subject of engineering mechanics will cover in the second semester. This is the classification of the engineering mechanics. With this, I am going to explain you the concept of rigid body. Rigid body is a solid. Please, dear students, everyone listen. The rigid body is not water. Rigid body is not air. The rigid body is a solid. Now the question is, when we call the solid as a rigid body, when the body is called as a rigid body, at present you don't know about that rigid body. So please everyone follow that definition of rigid body. When we call the body as a rigid body, please focus on this picture on the cell phone screens. Please give me the response. Can you see this picture on the cell phone screens?
Sir.
Yes, please unmute the mics. Now, please check this diagram on the cell phone screen. This is the solid. Please unmute the mic, please. This is the first diagram. Check that first diagram. In the diagram, we have a body. Look at first diagram. Here, no forces acting on the body. No force acting on the body. Check the second diagram. In the second diagram, the body is subjected to forces, external forces F1, F2, F3, F4. These external forces are acting on the body. Now check the second diagram. Even though the forces are acting on the body, there is no change in the shape of the body compared to this first condition. In the first condition, no forces acting on the body. You know that when the body is not subjected to forces, the shape of the body constant, the size of the body is also constant, because no forces acting on the body here. Since no forces acting on the body in this diagram, the body having same shape and same size.
Sarji.
No forces.
Sarji. गाड़ देवे सर जी बिहारी का स्टूडेंट है.
So please check the diagram. In the diagram, the first condition, no forces acting on the body. So here the body shape is constant, size is also constant, because no forces are acting on the body. Whereas in the second case, the forces are acting on the body. Even though the forces are acting on the body, if the body having the same shape and same size, we can call this body as the rigid body. That is the meaning of rigid body. The body is called as a rigid body if the body has the same shape and same size under the action of external forces. So check these two diagrams. In the first diagram, no external forces acting on the body. So the body is having the same shape and size because no forces. But even though the body is subjected to external forces, if the body having the same shape and same size, we can call this body as a rigid body. That is the definition of the rigid body in engineering mechanics. So check the definition, simple definition, no complications. Under the action of external forces, if the body is having the same shape and size, we call the body as a rigid body. So go through this definition. If there is no change means same, constant. If there is no change in either the shape or the size of a body under the action of external forces, then we call the body as a rigid body. Dear students, please everyone read this definition of rigid body. If you have doubts about this definition of rigid body, please ask me. This is the first concept in engineering mechanics. Definition of rigid body. When we call the body as a rigid body, if there is no change in either the shape or size of a body under the action of external forces. External forces are acting on the body. Even though external forces are acting on the body, if the body is having the same shape and size, then you can call the body as a rigid body. This is the first definition of rigid body. If anybody is having doubt in the definition of rigid body, you please discuss with me. If you have doubt in this definition of rigid body, you please discuss with me. So I hope you understand the definition. If there is no forces, the body having the same size and shape, no change because no forces. But if the forces are acting on the body, even though the forces are acting on the body, if the body having the same shape and size, you can call this body as a rigid body. So the body is considered as a rigid body if there is no change in either the shape and size of the body under the action of external forces. Now we have the second definition for this rigid body. What is the second definition of rigid body? Now take these diagrams. This is the body. I consider 2 points on the body, point A and point B. Let x is the distance between these 2 points in the body. X is the distance between the 2 points in the body. If there is no forces acting on the body, this distance remains constant. Because if there is no force acting on the body, the shape of the body constant, the size of the body is also constant. Since the shape and size are constant, if no force are acting on the body, the distance between point A, point B remains the same as x. But if I consider this body as a rigid body, I apply the external force on the body. Since it is a rigid body, even though the external forces are acting on the body, since it is a rigid body, just I explained the first definition. If the body is a rigid body, the body having the same shape and same size. Since this is a rigid body, even though the external forces are acting on the body, here also the distance between point A, point B remains constant. Because it is rigid body, there is no change in the shape and size of this body under the action of external forces. That is the definition of rigid body. If there is no change in the shape of this body or the size of body, the distance between point A, point B remains same as x. Because due to these forces, there is no change in the shape and size of the body. So the second definition of the rigid body, second definition is, if the distance between 2 points in the body remains same under the action of external forces, then also we call the body as a rigid body. So follow that second definition. If the distance between 2 points on the body remains the same. So this is the diagram. Before the forces, x is the distance. After the forces, same as x is the distance. So if the distance between 2 points in the body remains the same under the action of external forces, we can also call the body as a rigid body. That is the second definition of rigid body. The first definition of rigid body, there is no change in the shape and size of the body under the action of external forces. We call the body as a rigid body. There is no change in the shape and size of body under the action of external forces. We call the body as a rigid body. Second definition, if the distance between 2 points in the body remains constant under the action of external forces, then also we call the body as a rigid body. That is the second definition. So like that, in the rigid body, we have two definitions. The first definition, if there is no change in either the shape or size of the body under the action of external forces, we call the body as a rigid body. Second definition, if the distance between 2 points in the body remains the same under the action of external forces, we can also call the body as a rigid body. Once this body is a rigid body, if this body is a rigid body, then there is no deformation, there is no elongation, there is no compression of this body under the action of external forces. Since the size and shape remains constant due to the external force also, so if the body is a rigid body, there is no elongation, there is no compression of this body because of the action of external forces. In engineering mechanics, in the subject of engineering mechanics, we consider all bodies as rigid bodies. In the engineering mechanics subject, we assume all bodies as rigid bodies. That's why I explained this definition of rigid bodies in the beginning of this unit 1. So in engineering mechanics, all bodies are considered as rigid bodies. So if anybody is having doubt about this definition of rigid body, please discuss with me. If you have doubts about the definition of rigid body, please discuss with me. Any doubts, students, about the definition of rigid body, both the first and the second definition? If you have any doubt regarding the definition of rigid body, it is a simple concept but important. The first definition, there is no change either in the shape or in size of body under the action of external forces. We call the body as a rigid body. Second definition, if the distance between 2 points in the body remains constant under the action of external forces, then also we call the body as a rigid body. In this engineering mechanics subject, we consider all bodies as rigid bodies. That is the definition of this rigid body in the subject of engineering mechanics. With this knowledge of rigid body, we are going to discuss the further topics in unit 1. In unit 1, we are going to discuss the definition of force. Definition of force we are going to discuss in engineering mechanics. Dear students, most of you from lower classes onwards, you know about this term force. Can anybody give the answer? What is the definition of force? Please don't say F is equal to ma. F is equal to ma is the magnitude of force, not the definition of force. Any of you know the answer? What is the definition of force? Please give me that answer. What is the definition of force? If you know that answer of definition of force, Please discuss with me. What is the definition of force?
So can I say?
What is that 103? Please.
So can I say the answer?
Okay. Give me the answer 103.
Yes, sir. Force is a push or a pull that changes or tends to change the state of rest of uniform motion of an object
That
or change the
tries to
direction or shape of an object.
the rest and motion of object. May I know your name, please?
Farhan Ali, sir.
Okay, thank you. Up to
Thank you.
90%, you gave the answer. Very good. Very good. Then what about the remaining, please? If you know some other answer, please give me the answer. What is the definition of force? 108, Deepika, please give me the answer. What you know about definition of force?
Sir, sir,
Give me the reply, please.
force can cause the object mass to change its velocity, sir.
Change its velocity. Okay. Other than that velocity, can it change any other parameter?
Acceleration.
Very good. Other. Okay, okay. Please unmute your mics. Please unmute your mics. Now coming to the definition of force. Dear students, please understand this engineering mechanics subject from the fundamentals. I am going to discuss this subject for you starting from the beginnings because you are all new to this engineering mechanics subject. So I am going to discuss this subject from the very basics. Definition of force. Who gave the definition of force? The question is, who gave the definition of force? Please, if anyone knows the answer, give me the reply. Which person gave this definition of force? It is the person Sir Isaac Newton. This Sir Isaac Newton gave that definition of force. This is the picture of that great person. Always in the world of scientists, the first rank goes to this famous person. So many are there for the second rank. We have Einstein, we have Edison, we have so many scientists for the second position. But always in the world of scientists, in the rankings of scientists, the first rank goes to this great man, Sir Isaac Newton. Sir Isaac Newton gives the definition of force. I hope you remember, I hope you learned 3 laws of motion proposed by this great man, Sir Isaac Newton. Newton first law of motion, Newton second law of motion, Newton third law of motion. Important in physics. Definitely, you might have studied those laws in the lower classes. Newton first law of motion, that is also known as, please listen everyone, Newton first law of motion is also known as qualitative law of force. Newton's second law of motion is also known as quantitative law of force. Newton's third law of motion is also known as action-reaction law. So, this great man, Sir Isaac Newton, proposed those 3 laws. Newton, first law of motion, Newton, second law of motion, Newton, third law of motion. Newton, first law of motion is called qualitative law of force because Newton's first law explains the qualities of force. By using those qualities of force, we can define the force. So the Newton's first law defines the force. From that Newton's first law, we can define the force. Okay, students, with this, I am going to stop the today's class. Thank you very much for not disturbing the class. Prince Raja, please switch off your mics, cell phone mics during the class because this is a very, very important subject. Please follow the concepts carefully. Unmute your mics. If you have any doubts, please discuss with me. Next class, I am going to explain you the definition of force, because it is important to understand the further concepts in engineering mechanics. If you know the definition of force, you can understand the complete unit 1, unit 2 in engineering mechanics. So in the next class, I will discuss with you what is the definition of force from the Newton's first law of motion. It is also known as the qualitative law of force. Okay, with this I am going to stop the today's class. If any one of you are having the doubts in the today's class, you please discuss with me. If you are not having the doubts, you please leave from my class.